What's going on? YouTube, listen up. Young Elder Gang, this is Charles P. Winston at you with another banger. Please make sure you like, subscribe and share this video, fam. I hope this video get at least 100,000 likes in this video. You will find history definitions, scripture information, and best of all, what we Americans have been deprived of from the beginning. The truth, keep in mind, this content used in this video is intended for entertainment, educational and informational purposes. Only we will give you the total truth as we best understand it. Today, be sure to hit that like button. Young Elder Gang, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, hit that bell. And don't forget to check back with us every day for new content. Nelson Mandela's name is synonymous with courage, resilience, and the pursuit of justice. Born in rural South Africa, he rose from humble beginnings to become a global icon of freedom. Mandela's life was marked by struggle and sacrifice, dedicated to the idea that all people deserve dignity and equality. He became South Africa's first democratically elected president, leading the nation away from civil war and toward reconciliation. Before that, he was a revolutionary, a lawyer, and a prisoner, jailed for challenging apartheid. His legacy is not just what he achieved, but how, with forgiveness, strength, and a vision for a united nation. Mandela's story reminds us that fighting for justice often comes at great personal cost. To understand Mandela's struggle, we must grasp apartheid, a system of institutionalized racial segregation in South Africa. Apartheid dictated where people lived, worked, and whom they could marry, enforcing white minority rule. The country's wealth was built on cheap black labour, while black South Africans faced daily humiliation and hardship. They were stripped of rights, forced to carry passbooks, and lived in segregated, impoverished townships. Education for black children was deliberately inferior, designed to keep them subservient. Any protest was met with brutal repression, arrests, torture, even death. This climate of fear and injustice sparked resistance. South Africa needed a leader willing to risk everything to end this system. Amid oppression, Nelson Mandela emerged as a leader in the African National Congress, initially advocating non-violent protest. Inspired by Gandhi, Mandela organized boycotts and strikes, hoping for peaceful change. But after the Sharpeville Massacre, where police killed 69 unarmed protesters, Mandela realized peaceful protest was not enough. He co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, the ANC's armed wing, focusing on sabotage against apartheid infrastructure. Mandela became a fugitive, known as the Black Pimpernel, evading capture while fighting for a non-racial democracy. His vision was not black domination, but equality for all South Africans. His leadership made him a hero to millions. The struggle for freedom had entered a new, dangerous phase. Mandela's growing influence threatened both the apartheid regime and global financial interests. The government saw him as a dangerous agitator. International business feared the ANC's call to nationalize mines and banks. The Freedom Charter demanded South Africa's wealth benefit all its people, not just a privileged few. Western powers, fearing communism, often supported the apartheid state. Mandela's true aim was freedom and justice, not allegiance to foreign powers. His vision challenged both racial supremacy and economic exploitation. Stopping Mandela became a top priority for those invested in the old order. After months on the run, Mandela was arrested and faced the Rivonia trial, where he declared he was prepared to die for a free South Africa. Sentenced to life on Robben Island, Mandela became a global symbol of resistance. His imprisonment only amplified his cause, inspiring international campaigns for his release. The phrase "Free Nelson Mandela" echoed worldwide. During his incarceration, the Mandela Effect emerged. Many falsely remembered him dying in prison. This phenomenon highlights the quirks of collective memory. But Mandela's real story is more powerful. He was released in 1990, led South Africa to democracy, and inspired the world with his forgiveness. Mandela's legacy endures as a testament to the power of the human spirit. June 12, 1964. A day that cast a long, dark shadow over South Africa. On this day, Nelson Mandela was sentenced to life in prison. A leader, a lawyer, and a voice for millions, silenced by the apartheid regime. Robben Island became his new home, a cold prison surrounded by sea. For many, it felt like hope itself had been locked away. But Mandela's imprisonment didn't crush resistance. It fueled it. He became a symbol, not of defeat, but of the fight for freedom. The anti-apartheid movement faced its darkest hour, but the dream of a different South Africa refused to die. Why was Mandela sent to prison? Officially, for leading the ANC against apartheid. Apartheid made black South Africans second-class citizens, no vote, no land, no real opportunities. Mandela and the ANC began with peaceful protest, but the government answered with violence and banned the ANC. Forced underground, Mandela helped form Umkhonto we Sizwe, targeting symbols of apartheid. In 1962, Mandela was captured and faced charges of sabotage. He used the trial to condemn apartheid, declaring he was prepared to die for freedom. Found guilty, he was sentenced to life in prison. For 27 years, Mandela became a global symbol of resistance. But was his story really so simple? Some believe there's more beneath the surface. The apartheid regime saw Mandela as a threat. Charismatic, intelligent, able to unite millions. As long as he was free, he was a symbol of hope and resistance. His leadership of Umkhonto we Sizwe marked a shift to armed struggle, which the government saw as war. Locking him away was meant to break the movement and discourage others. But it wasn't just politics or security. Apartheid was an economic system, enriching powerful companies and international bankers through cheap black labour. Mandela and the ANC talked about nationalising mines and redistributing wealth, terrifying the financial elite. His imprisonment protected not just the regime, but the profits of those who benefited from apartheid. Mandela's removal served both political rulers and wealthy elites. They needed him gone to keep their world intact. The fight wasn't just about race or power, it was about money. Behind the bars, bigger interests were at play. Mandela's absence was a victory for those who feared change, and it set the stage for deeper conspiracies. For 27 years, Mandela was hidden from the world. No photos, no interviews, just rumours. The government controlled every detail, insisting he was alive and well, but who could be sure? In this silence, a conspiracy theory took root. The real Mandela died in prison. Some say he died in the 1980s, and the government, fearing chaos, covered it up. They couldn't risk turning Mandela into a martyr. According to the theory, they found a look-alike or even created a clone to take his place. This double would be released when the time was right, trained to act and speak like Mandela. The replacement would be more willing to negotiate, more compliant. It sounds far-fetched, but the apartheid regime was infamous for secrecy and brutality. They spied, tortured, and made people disappear. In a country ruled by lies, was such a deception really impossible to imagine? The seeds of this conspiracy grew in the soil of fear and mistrust. And for some, it explained everything that followed. The Truth Seekers. Mandela, released in 1990, wasn't the same man who went in. This new Mandela, they say, was a puppet, meant to calm the nation and protect old power structures. The revolution was betrayed, and the white elite kept their wealth. Believers point to evidence. Photos showing different ears, a changed smile, a new demeanour. Of course, 27 years in prison ages a man, but for some, these differences are proof of a switch. They also note a shift in Mandela's message, from fiery revolutionary to peacemaker. The old Mandela spoke of armed struggle and nationalisation. The new one preached reconciliation and compromise. Supporters saw wisdom, conspiracy theorists saw a replacement. Economic change was limited. Land wasn't returned. Mines weren't nationalised. For those still in poverty, this is the ultimate proof. The real Mandela would never have settled. The man who became president, they claim, was an imposter. The theory offers a simple answer to complex disappointments. It's a story of betrayal, not just by the regime, but by history itself. For some, it's easier to believe in a clone than to accept a compromised revolution. The legend of the fake Mandela endures, and the questions refuse to die. Why do these stories persist? One reason is the Mandela Effect, a phenomenon where many remember Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, despite official history. This shared false memory makes the clone theory feel plausible to some. People compare old and new photos, searching for discrepancies, earlobes, height, even signatures. Every difference becomes a clue in a supposed cover-up. But appearances change, and memories are unreliable. Disappointment also fuels belief. Political freedom arrived, but economic freedom did not. Many still live in poverty, while a small elite controls the wealth. It's easier to believe Mandela was replaced than to accept that the revolution fell short. The conspiracy offers comfort, a reason for broken promises. It's a way to explain pain and injustice. The theory thrives on mistrust and unmet hopes, and so it lives on. To understand the conspiracy, you must understand apartheid, a regime built on violence and fear. The government had absolute power, arresting, torturing, and silencing opponents. Propaganda justified racist policies, while the world was told lies. Brutality was routine. The Sharpeville Massacre, the Soweto Uprising, midnight raids and disappearances. The state killed to maintain control. In this climate, it's not surprising people believe the government could replace a prisoner. When truth is the enemy, anything seems possible. The Mandela clone theory is a dark reflection of real horrors. It grows from trauma and mistrust. Apartheid's legacy is a deep suspicion of power, and that suspicion shapes the stories people tell. Today, the ghost of this conspiracy lingers. South Africa still struggles with inequality and broken promises. The dream of a rainbow nation remains unfulfilled for many. The clone theory offers an explanation for disappointment, a way to blame an imposter, not a hero. It's easier than facing the messy reality of nation-building. Mistrust of government and elites fuels belief in hidden plots. The theory is a symptom of a nation still healing. Apartheid's wounds echo through generations. The pain didn't vanish in 1994. The story of Mandela's supposed clone reflects unresolved issues of justice and power. It's a dark fable for a country still searching for answers. What does this wild story teach us? It asks, who gets to write history? Official stories are shaped by the powerful, but other narratives grow in the shadows. Conspiracy theories reflect the experiences of the oppressed and the betrayed. The Mandela clone theory isn't fact, but it speaks to emotional truths, disappointment, suspicion, and the need for answers. These stories exist because official history often leaves out the uncomfortable parts. We shouldn't dismiss them outright. Instead, we should ask why they exist. They point to real problems: inequality, corruption, mistrust. When people feel powerless, they seek extraordinary explanations. Mandela's story, hero, sellout, or clone, forces us to question what we're told. History is a battlefield of ideas, not just facts. And it's up to each of us to decide what to believe.